Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Donuts by Funforge.
Donuts is an abstract strategy game from designer Bruno Cathala for 2 players, in which you and the other player are going to be trying to get 5 of your donuts, whether chocolate or vanilla, in a vertical line, horizontal line, or diagonal. The catch with this particular game is that wherever you place your donut determines how the next player is allowed to place their donut, and then consequently how you're allowed to place your donut on your next turn, and back and forth until someone gets 5 donuts in a row, or until all players use all of their donuts. And then you'll just see who has the biggest area of connected donuts to determine the winner. Now in this one, it's very simple rules. Each player places a donut one at a time, and wherever you end up placing your donut on the board, there's going to be a line, and that line is either going to be vertical, horizontal, or diagonal. And that will determine where the next player is allowed to place their donut on that line as it extends beyond the entire playing field. And so that determines the spaces that are available to that player, and they can only place in spots that are open. If there aren't any open spots, then they get to place wherever they want in the field, and you really want to try not to give your opponent the opportunity to do that, because that's going to be a huge advantage for them. If you place in between an open spot of your opponents where they have 2 donuts and a gap in the middle, if you place right in the middle of that gap, then that is going to allow you to steal their donuts. You get to flip those donuts over towards your color, and that will go a long ways towards you getting your 5 donuts. And you do want to watch out, make sure that you don't inadvertently give your opponent the opportunity to do that to you. And that's really all there is to this game. You'll keep going back and forth until someone gets 5 in a row, and that's the idea with this one. So, very simple game here, abstract strategy through and through with this one. What'd you think about this one, Sam?
I liked it. I think that I was really bad at it, and the strategy of it did take a second to... It's like you can either, for me, I felt like I could either focus on getting that 5 in a row or him not getting his 5 in a row, and I couldn't focus on both. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is a game that doesn't feel like every turn you can do exactly what you want to do. And some turns you might end up doing something you don't want to do. And so sometimes this is a game of managing the what's the best of the worst options, kind of is how this feels like at times, because you definitely don't want to do the thing that gives them the opportunity for the win. Obviously, you don't want to do that at all. So you might have to do, well, what's the next least worst thing, right? Like that's kind of how this game goes sometimes. And you don't always feel like you're kind of directly building up to your 5 donut line. A lot of times it feels like, well, I'll go here to make them have to go here, which will then let me go over here. So you do kind of have to think maybe 2 or 3 turns in advance. Was this a fun abstract strategy game for you?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's simple. It's essentially not tic-tac-toe. Well,
Connect 4.
Yeah, Connect 4, but with 5 and donuts. So it's just kind of a level up from the typical game. So most people can easily understand what's going on and how to play it.
Yeah, I think this is one that you can teach in like 30 seconds, really. I mean, it has like 3 rules. And it is. It is a very visual game, I like the components with this one. The wooden donuts are nice. They're chunky wooden donuts.
I think the vanilla one should have had sprinkles. They look like bagels.
They do. They look like bagels. I do wish the donuts, the vanilla side of the donuts looked a little bit better.
I get it's supposed to be glazed, but it looks like a bagel.
It does. It kind of does. The chocolate donuts look great. So. But I do love the colors as well. The blue, the pink, the white. I mean, all of that looks appealing, looks welcoming. So this has an inviting feel when you see it out on the table. I like how you can shuffle those boards around to change up the way that it's set up every time you play this game. That is a nice thing, because I think it would get very static and very dry if you couldn't change up the board. You would have a pretty good strategy every time you play the game, but since you can shuffle it up and turn those boards around, that definitely changes it up for you. So I think it's a pretty straightforward game. It's probably a one-trick pony, meaning that, after you kind of get the idea of the game, it's not going to really give you too many curveballs from that point forward. It's
Yeah.
really going to depend upon the person you're playing with and kind of how they play the game against you. That's where you're going to get your challenges from with this one. So, one that you would recommend playing with non-gamers?
Yeah, I think it's a great one. I think you could even play with kids.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think
Maybe
you can
slightly
play.
older.
What's the box say here? It says ages 8 and up.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
That's probably accurate. I think if you taught it to a 6-year-old, they might understand. They
Yeah.
might not be very good at it, but
Yeah.
I think they could get better at it. So,
Yeah.
Definitely an easy one to get to the table. Doesn't take long to set up. So, interesting little game here, especially if you're looking for something abstract strategy at the 2-player count, because this is strictly a 2-player game. The game is Donuts. It is from Funforge. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this game.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.